Hi, my name is Wendy Myers. I'm a health and nutrition coach. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about probiotics and the important role that they play in your health. Today, probiotics I want to tell you a little about what they are first. They're beneficial bacteria and yeast that function internally to promote healthy digestion and immunity. And they have so many benefits. Some of the benefits include lower cholesterol, detoxifying heavy metals, the inhibition of cancer, protection against food poisoning, protection against stomach ulcers, enhanced immunity, and protection against bacteria and harmful viruses, in addition to just so many things. It's so important for our health. Now, some of the symptoms of abnormal gut flora, if you're having really pretty much any kind of health problem or any kind of, gastrointestinal distress, you may have low probiotics. It's very common because the majority of the people in the United States, because of their poor diet and high sugar consumption and poor lifestyle habits, in addition to eating lots of antibiotics or taking antibiotics and eating antibiotic-laden food from factory farm meats, the majority of people don't have the required 100 trillion probiotics in their intestines. Some of them have as little as like 4 or 5 billion probiotics, not 100 trillion. So the majority of people are seriously lacking in probiotics and need to supplement. Now, some of the things that I want to talk to you about how probiotics get destroyed is that mainly, like I said, from taking antibiotics. Another one is actually taking even just natural antibiotics like golden seal or oil of oregano. You can't overdo those things. You want to use them only when you need them, and don't use too much of it. It can be too much of a good thing. Pain medication is another thing. Advil, Aleve, Motrin, Midol. Those things definitely kill probiotics. If your body's too acidic, if you're eating too much protein or you're eating lots of sugar, those things will create an acidic, an acidic state in your body, and that will favor more the pathogenic bacteria rather than the good bacteria that you want. Another thing is chlorine. When we take a shower, we are absorbing chlorine. When you swim in a swimming pool or jacuzzi, that chlorine kills bacteria. And while it's wonderful to kill bacteria in our tap, you don't want to be drinking tap water or soaking in a tub unless it's filtered water. So I definitely recommend do not drink tap water from the tap unless it's filtered. And definitely think about doing a small investment in a shower filter that's maybe $40 to $100, not too much. You also, constipation can also cause the death of good probiotics and the proliferation of pathogenic bacteria, because if the feces and all that fiber and stuff in your food stay in your colon for too long, then the pathogenic bacteria feed on it and they exponentially grow. So you definitely want to eat a better diet, address IBS by doing an IBS friendly diet. Like on my website, I have a whole program you can do that you have to do about 6 months to cure IBS. I also suggest doing coffee enemas or just even water enemas to relieve your constipation. There's no reason to deal with that at all. Another thing, partying is not good. Smoking cigarettes, drinking, and doing recreational drugs definitely destroy the probiotic flora in your intestines. And stress also is not good. Little probiotics do not like stress. I'm not sure about the mechanism as how stress exactly destroys the probiotics, but studies show that it does. Additionally, low iron is typically that can be found in vegetarian and vegan diets is not healthy for probiotics. The reason being is because the probiotics live in a biofilm these biofilms they're like slime, and they're covering the intestinal wall, and they require iron to be large enough and thick enough, ample enough for probiotics to live in and thrive. So One of the things that you want to look for in a probiotic is you want to make sure that they're refrigerated. I know it sounds great that many companies are producing ones that don't need to be refrigerated. Those are typically in forms like HSOs that you perhaps don't, they're like spore form probiotics that produce spores, so they don't need to be refrigerated. Those you typically want to avoid. Those are more fed to cattle. There's safety concerns surrounding those. The other ones that are not refrigerated can typically, while they travel well and whatnot, there's no guarantee that the amount, the CFUs, the colony forming units that are on the bottle is going to still, at the time of manufacture, is still going to be in the tablet when you take it and eat it. There's no guarantee. So the only way to guarantee that is just to buy refrigerated ones because they're living things and they need to be refrigerated to prolong their life. You also want super strains of probiotics. You want them to, be proven strains that survive the stomach acid, that are proven to be stronger than other forms. There's different forms of like acidophilus, for instance, like the DDS strain. There's other ones called the we'll just say the DDS one is a really strong one. There's super strains of bifidobacteria, and there's other ones that you want to look out for. Just do a little research and make sure that when you're taking it has super strains so that you're not wasting your money. And there's also the potency. You want to make sure that your probiotic does not have less than 10 billion CFUs or colony forming units. Otherwise, you're wasting your money. More is usually better. The more colonies you're taking, the better. But you want to take it easy. You don't want to go crazy and be taking like 3 a day of the 10 billion CFUs. You want to make sure that you're doing, take one a day. And then if you don't have a big die-off of the bacteria and yeast that can be kind of unpleasant, then maybe continue taking them every day. If you get a big die-off reaction, then, take it back a notch, maybe take a probiotic every other day. Another thing you want to look for is you don't really need an enteric coating. That's a big thing in probiotics today. Don't need an enteric coating because that's more for like weaker probiotic lines that have less than 10 billion. The purpose of the enteric coating is to make sure that the probiotics survive the stomach acid. But cavemen got probiotics too. They got it from eating unwashed vegetables and eating meats that had probiotics in them and whatnot. So they can survive the stomach acid environment. So you just want to make sure you take a strong one that has enough CFUs and enough potency so that some of them survive and colonize your intestines. So don't worry about that. It's more of a marketing gimmick. And you also want to make sure that your probiotic only has maybe 5 to 7 strains. Some of them, like amazing ones like Prescripticis, which I highly recommend, has 29 or 30 strains, and that's fantastic. But the majority of them, you don't need to take too many strains at once because they'll compete for each other, and they'll kind of inhibit each other, like colonizing the lining of your intestinal tract. You also want to make sure you have more than one strain. Just don't even bother with a probiotic that only has one strain, like it only has acidophilus or only has bifidus, unless that's your intention is to only use those intentionally for whatever health problem you have. But usually you want to have one with multiple strains because just the one strain is not going to be helpful in colonizing the intestine, the flora in your intestines the way that you want. Another thing you don't want to worry about is definitely you don't want to take prebiotics by themselves. Some studies have shown that the FOS, that's kind of a popular marketing gimmick in many of the probiotics, they claim that it helps the probiotics work better. It's actually not the case. You have to take 40 grams of SOS for them to benefit the growth of the probiotic that you're taking. So don't worry about the probiotic having FOS or having a prebiotic in it, because the prebiotics, while they do feed the good bacteria, they also feed the pathogenic bacteria, which you don't want. So don't even worry about that. And some of the the recommended probiotics that I love. One of them is Prescript Assist. I love all the probiotics on gapsdiet.com, but you can look at the blog and get the whole list and the links to the probiotics that I recommend. And as far as probiotics and antibiotics, a lot of people aren't really sure whether they should like take probiotics while they're taking antibiotics. You absolutely can. The antibiotic doesn't kill all of them, so I definitely recommend doing that to assist in your body healing from this, this nuclear bomb going off in your intestines, because the antibiotics do kill the majority of the good flora in your intestines. So once you take an antibiotic, you're kind of starting from square one, and so you definitely want to take something for minimum a month or two, like Prescript Assist, which is specifically formulated for use after taking antibiotics, and take it, like I said, for a month or two. One thing you want to be careful about is that a lot of probiotics contain GMOs. It's kind of the industry's dirty little secret, because they basically use a feeding mechanism, like a prebiotic. It's a flow agent called maltodextrin, and this is made from genetically modified corn. And this is why you don't see any probiotics on the market that have an organic label, that have the USDA organic label. And I always kind of wondered that myself. So I was very surprised to learn that a lot of your probiotics you're taking also have a little hidden ingredient that doesn't have to be on the label, which is genetically modified corn flow agents called maltodextrin. So be careful about that. There's a good probiotic on the market called Sunbiotics. I think they're at sunbiotics.com, and they're totally organic. They're totally fantastic supplements. So check it out. And if you don't want to take supplements, you don't want to spend the money on supplements, not a problem. You can eat probiotic foods. Just forget eating any commercial yogurts like Activia or Yakult, or any of those that you see like at your local grocery store, even Whole Foods. They typically will contain like one strain of a probiotic, or they just add a little bit of acidophilus just so they can put it on the label. But these commercialized yogurts have all been pasteurized. So pasteurization heats up the yogurt or the kefir or whatever, and it kills all the bacteria. So you view yogurt as more of a treat and not as a probiotic food, and thinking you're doing something for your health, because they also contain 7 to 13 grams of sugar per serving, which is going to feed the pathogenic bacteria in your intestines. So it actually is worse for you than it is benefiting you. One thing I do recommend is raw yogurt and kefir. You can make it at home, or you can actually buy it at your local farmer's market. Totally raw, unpasteurized, full of healthy probiotics and vitamins. They're fantastic for you. And I eat, when I do eat dairy, I always eat it raw. It's safe. Don't worry. You can check out the safety record of it on realmilk.com. Another probiotic food is just making your own fermented vegetables at home. I make kimchi sometimes. I make shredded carrots with ginger, and I make like sauerkrauts and sweet krauts with probiotics. And you can check out the video about how to do that on bodyecology.com. It's fantastic and so healthy. You can buy them also at the store. They're pretty expensive, like at Whole Foods and your local farmers markets and little health food stores. But you have to make sure you buy them raw. You can't buy pasteurized sauerkraut or kimchi, because again, it's going to kill the little guys you're trying to get in you. So make sure it says raw on the label. Some other probiotic foods you can eat are kombucha, like fermented drinks. I love coconut water kefir. My favorite one is called Inner Eco. I get it at Whole Foods, and it's got stevia and some flavoring, and it kind of masks that really vomity sour taste that it has. It's kind of gross, but sour foods are healthy for you, and they get your digestive juices flowing. You can also eat kvass is another one. There's apple cider vinegar drinks that have been fermented, and there's a lot of choices at Whole Foods and your local stores now. You can Uh, you can also do a diet to restore your healthy flora. Some people, they don't like taking pills or supplements. They don't want to spend the money to do it. So I have on this blog a diet you can do that will absolutely eventually restore proper healthy flora. It just pretty much involves nourishing your body and avoiding foods that help that grow pathogenic bacteria, which is mainly of flour and sugar products and things like that. So you got to cut out the gluten and the sugar in order to not feed that bad bacteria. Now, there's also testing you can do if you're really worried about it. You think you have a systemic candida infection, which is candida albicans, which is a real nasty yeast. There's a test you can do from metametrics.com. It's called the DNA stool analysis GI effects test. It's fantastic. They checks almost like 100 different parameters, and it's a fantastic test. It's very accurate, and if you're worried about it, you can ask your doctor. If your doctor doesn't have an account with Metametrics, he can just write you a prescription on his little pad, and then you can call Metametrics directly and order the kit to do at home. It's a stool sample, and then you can send it off and get your results back, and hopefully your doctor can interpret those results. And lastly, are probiotics beneficial? The evidence suggests that probiotics are beneficial. They are very important because, you know, they're really important because in doing all kinds of things. For the vast majority of people, they don't have enough probiotics in their gut, and they need to do something really drastic, like supplement billions and billions and billions of probiotics in order to repopulate their intestines and enjoy good health. Because really, having the 100 trillion probiotics in your intestines is the foundation of health. I can't even begin to tell you how many health, like just vague health symptoms or poor health and chronic disease are simply caused by not having enough probiotics in your intestines. So definitely think about investing in some probiotics, doing a probiotic friendly diet, and it will definitely help you live to 110. Thank you so much.